Hey guys, OG Albine here, finally bringing you guys my IBL Season 6 Round 1 playoff game against Clutch Sometimes and his Kansas City Kingdras, I believe it is. Very, very cool dude. We played him in Week 2, and it was actually a phenomenal battle. We actually did end up winning that game 1-0, but it was really, really close right down to the wire. Our Mew, ended up clutching it out for us there in the end against Sylveon. But Clutch has a very, very good team, and he brought a very good team last time, so I'm kind of spooked going into this matchup, being that he kind of has the advantage being the fact that, he saw what beat him last time, and he can, circumvent that and, stop that with his build this time. But nonetheless, this should be a really good game. I brought some different stuff, and I'm sure he brought some different stuff too. So, yeah, with that being said, let's just jump right into team matchup. There won't be a team builder for this, just because it's already so late. I don't want to throw up a team builder video the day before, and then the actual battle the day after. I want to get this up as soon as possible just so I can get this to you guys quick and all that stuff. But I will leave a poke paste of the team below. But our roster, if you did forget, just so you have context of which mons can come to the game, which mons couldn't. Our roster, if you did forget, because it's been a while, is Mew, Kommo-o, Greninja, Jolteon, Rabombi, Archeops, Mega Scizor, Mamoswine, Serena, Porygon Z, and Cofagrigus, with our Z users being Kommo-o and Archeops. While Clutch's team consists of the Landorus, Therian, Rotom Wash, Roserade, Haxorus, Hariyama, Vikavolt, Absol, Mega Absol, Jirachi, Sylveon, Talonflame, and Sandslash, with the Z users being Landorus T and Vikavolt. So very, very, very scary team. We see the Vikavolt, which is something that he did not bring last time. That mon is actually really scary versus me. I'm pretty under prep for it, so we are going to have to, keep that in mind and all that stuff. And then Talonflame is a huge threat to our team, just like all flying types have been to us all season long. We have a pretty bulky Archeops to stop that. But yeah, jumping into the team that we actually have, do a quick rule rundown. We are running a Expert Belt, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Hidden Power Ice, and Heal Bell Jolteon. Heal Bell is mostly there because I think his best way of dealing with our Calm Mind Mew, which is the exact same set we brought last time. You can definitely go check out that team builder, that battle, to see that set and all its EVs and stuff like that, or the poke paste in the description below. I think his best way of stopping that is honestly going to be with status. I think he will totally trade status on this thing. Synchronize one of his mons with toxic just to get Mew toxic. So if we can Heal Bell away a poison on that, that's absolutely amazing. But yeah, like I said, same Mew set as last time. We're bringing Kommo-o again, but this time instead of bringing a specially defensive, sub-toxic variant, we are bringing a Dragon Dance 3 attack set that really does blow through his team potentially. If we get sufficient chip, we have Poison Jab for the Sylveon, and then I believe we have dual stabs. Otherwise, we have a mixed Life Orb Mamoswine with Freeze Dry with enough special attack investment to knock out 2-hit KO on max HP Rotom Wash with no Spadef, which is obviously really, really cool. And then we're using Icicle Spear over Crash just to break potential Yachis on stuff like Landorus and stuff like that, and then, continue to hit it very hard afterwards, which is really nice. It's a really good breaker in this game, and Ice Shard Priority is also nice. Next up, we have our Mega Scizor, rocking out with the same exact EV spread as last time, but instead of Swords Dance, we have Defog, which rounds out our set as Bullet Punch, Q-Turn, Roost, and Defog. I wanted, potentially a way to get away those hazards, and I thought he might want to bring Toxic Spikes versus me this time because I don't have a grounded poison, and Roserade was pretty good versus my team in all honesty. So I figured maybe he would want to bring that with T-Spikes. He didn't end up bringing it, but I figured it was something nice to have. And then we are running the exact same Archeops set as last time. We're running Edgequake with Rocky MZ, Roost, and I believe Stealth Rock. Yeah, this is going to be our rocker. We have enough defense investment to always live to Talonflame Brave Birds, even if he is banded. So it's going to be our main Talonflame check as long as we can keep rocks away and off the field and all that good stuff. So yeah, with that being said, let's just jump right into the game. I am going to like to lead off with my Jolteon. I figure it gives me momentum versus everything, and if he leads Lando, I will 100% stay in and click the Hidden Power Ice. Even if he is Yashi, getting that chip on that thing is really, really good, and it's good for my Mamo in the back too. Means he really doesn't switch into it well at all. So he is going to end up leading off the Landorus, as you're going to see, as I do lead off with my Jolteon. In turn 1, like I said, I'm pretty much just going to click Hidden Power Ice after this Intimidate procs. If he's Scarf, he's Scarf. That's good information to have. I don't think he'll be Scarf in this matchup, but, it could be a potential possibility and all that stuff. So he is going to switch in the Vikavolt as they go for the Hidden Power Ice, and you're going to see this is going to actually pretty much just bounce off this thing, which is terrifying. This is a very, very, very bulky Vikavolt, so it makes me think he's probably not agility, but he is, you know, very, very, at least HP invested, to say the least. As I'm going to Volt Switch out this next turn, I'm going to go out into my Scizor, knowing he probably isn't going for a Hidden Power Ice right here, as he ends up going for a Thunder Wave. So that's a good play on his end, knowing I probably won't stay in with my Jolteon. You know, I would have obviously been able to absorb that, but there's not much I can do to that thing unless I was like toxic or something like that. But I'm fine with Scizor being paralyzed. It's not the biggest deal in the world, in all honesty. It just means I'm a little bit slower, and I risk the I run the risk of getting parried on, you know, something like the Sylveon, like if it's HP Fire or something like that. As he is going to throw for Roost this next turn. Very, very fair play on my opponent's part, but I am going to be able to get a slow U-turn out now, which actually kind of helps me in a tiny bit in a way, as it gives me a free switch into, I believe, my Archeops is where I'm going to go. Yeah, so we go back out into Archeops, and I don't have to risk switching in like a Thunderbolt or anything like that, which I obviously don't want to do, being that this is my best check to the Talonflame in the back, as he's going to switch in his Landorus right here. As you're going to see, I believe, do I go for my Rocks this turn? I'm pretty sure I just go straight for my Rocks. No, I go for a Stone Edge, because I don't want to mess around that Vikavolt. And you're going to see from this damage, he is an incredibly bulky Landorus. Like, very, 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 very bulky. And I'm assuming he probably has a Stone Edge. I'm going to go on to my Mammospine, because I don't really have a great switch into this thing at all, in all honesty. And I know he's very likely going to pop off a Z move right here, and I don't want my Mew to take that. I think Rocky MZ and Earthquake had a pretty good chance of killing me, depending on his spread and all that stuff. He could have just been like max HP, max attack for all I knew at that point. I believe he wasn't. After the game, he showed me his sets and stuff like that. He obviously was a little bit more intricate with the EVs and that, but, you know, I didn't really run that risk or anything. As he's going to go for the Continental Crush, he's going to do a fair amount, but Mamoswine is a very, very bulky mon, and he is not going to want to stay in on our Mamo here. He's going to go out into the Rotom, which is pretty expected. This is a really good check to Mamo, but I am going to make the play. I'm going to go straight for the Freeze Dry, expecting that play, as he is going to actually stay above half here. So it shows that he has a fair amount of Spadef on his thing, because I actually EV'd this to always 2-hit KO, max HP, no Spadef Rotom. And right here, he is going to go for a Volt Switch on my Mamo, obviously switching out, which was a very, very fair play on his end. Judging that he's not leftover, he's most likely a Super Berry. So even if I called that play and stayed it and clicked Freeze Dry, he would have been put in range of his berry and then brought him back up to a higher amount of health than he was before, or, you know, at least around there, which would have been, you know, pretty scary. But he's going to go out into his Lando on the Volt Switch, get up his own Rocks, which is definitely fair. Chips down a lot of mons on my team, makes my Mamo have a lot less longevity, as well as my Archeops not being as sturdy of a check to the Talonflame in the back. As right here, I'm going to U-turn. I'm going to go right out into my Jolteon, screaming that I'm going to click Hidden Power Ice, which is, you know, a pretty obvious play here, as he is going to switch out. I believe he goes out into the, yeah, he goes out into the Jirachi, but I am going to call that go for the Volt Switch. I kind of had to start playing a little bit more aggressively here in the in this end game, just because I'm pretty far in the back at this point, in all honesty. As I am going to go out into my Mew, take a little rock chip, as he is going to reveal the lefty, so he is not a Scarf Jirachi like he was last time. That's good information to know for my Archeops, as I outspeed everything besides the Talonflame at this point, as he's most likely not Scarf Rotom either. As I am going to pull switch out into my Scizor, scouting for the Toxic, which he does end up going for, but at this point I'm kind of reserved to sacking my my Scizor. If he does have Fire Punch, he's going to click it here, he's going to knock me out, and I get a free switch into something else. As he does go for the Fire Punch, I do go down. So down goes Scizor, which is unfortunate, because this means the Rocks are up to stay versus me unless he defogs them away himself, which I can potentially get him to do if I can get him up with my Archeops. And I am going to go into my Archeops this turn, threatening with the Earthquake, threatening him with the Z-Ground, that kind of thing. He doesn't know my set this time. Last time I was Z-Rock. I'm actually the same exact set as last time, like I said earlier, but he does not know that at this point, as he is going to pull the switch out into his Landorus. I'm assuming scouting for that, as I believe, is this the turn where I try and get up my Rocks? No, I go for an Earthquake. Man, I wasn't playing, I was playing aggressive earlier, but I wasn't playing aggressive enough. As right here, I'm going to stay and get up my Rocks there. I knew it was the turn after. I figured getting up Rocks would be very, very important. I'd stop him from switching all over me, as he's going to go for the Stone Edge, and unfortunately missed. Now, this really, really does suck for my opponent. I do feel bad, because he definitely would have taken me out there, because Archeops is bulky, but it's not that bulky. That's a Landorus. So, I am going to switch out into my, my Jolteon, pretty much sacking it off at this point, as he is going to, you know, get off a very big Stone Edge. I am going to live, which is nice, and I believe I live one more rock switch in, which is also really, really nice, as I am just going to go for Hidden Power Ice here just because it's pretty safe if he wants to stay in, you know, if he's like, you know, for some reason, you know, very, very bulky lander, so he can potentially live that hit. As he's going to go out into the Sylveon, I'm going to start clicking Thunderbolt, just trying to potentially, you know, whittle this thing down as he does go for the Moonblast. Moonblast being that I do have Kommo-o on my team, which does have access to Soundproof. But yeah, I am going to lose my Jolteon here, go down 4-6, and things are looking very, very tough for us because we have a very weakened Mamoswine. We have a Archeops that's at 50% upon switch, and then we have a Mew that's taking one turn of rocks and a full Kommo-o. Because right here, he is going to pull switch out into his Rotom, and I knew this was going to happen, so I did end up going for, I couldn't risk it. I ended up going for the Icicle Spear, and I really had to hope I didn't get more than 2 hits, because more than 2 hits would have put him in range of his berry, but he does not get that right there, as I do, you know, get put down to my last turn of, Life Orb. Now right here, this is a big play. I figured that he would want to potentially save his Rotom, because if he switched into Rocks one more time, he got his berry back. And, you know, Rotom was still very, very good versus my team. It was a good natural check to things like Mew if he had, like, Toxic on it and stuff like that. It's a good check to Archeops. He can always live a hit, as well as, you know, Kommo-o potentially. And if he wants to burn me, that's also, you know, a very, very viable option for me. So I'm so far in the back at this point. In my head, I'm thinking he's going to try and pivot out into his Jirachi because he knows I can't take more than... he knows he can take, you know, Icicle Spear with pretty relative ease, and then revenge me the next turn if I don't go down to my Life Orb right here. So I'm going to make the hard read of going for an Earthquake, and we're going to see that we're going to get that play right. We're going to catch him on his pivot out, going to get this big, big Earthquake off, and earlier we saw he was leftover, so he is not... Shook a berry, obviously, and we're going to be able to take out that Rachi. So that was a really, really big play. It really did put us back into this game and, you know, give us a potential shot to win this comeback. But our Mamoswine is going to go down right here to our Life Orb chip, which is very unfortunate, but we do still have the potential pieces to win this game in our Kommo-o, which is going to be our main win con at this point, as I am going to pull switch out into my Archeops right here, knowing that I can get a big hit on anything that wants to come in. And the Rotom comes in, eats his berry like we assumed it was probably the Super Berry, and gets back up to a pretty healthy amount, as I believe I just pop off my Z move this turn. I know it'll kill the Rotom, and it'll get a big chunk off on this Landers if that's what he wants to go into. And Stone Edge is unresisted by my opponent's team at this point, which is also really, really nice. So I am just going to pop off the Z Rock, showing him that I'm basically the same set as last time. If this Archeops does end up going down, though, I do have to kind of be careful with it around that Talonflame, because then at that point, +2 Talonflame wins the game. So again, we have to be very, very careful about that. But we do have Rocks up, which is really nice, so it's going to have a lot of trouble setting up on my team at this point, as we are going to throw out this big Continental Crush, and you're going to see this Lando is stupid bulky, because it actually ends up living that from half. Even -1, that's a... you know, really strong Archeops Z move right there, as I am going to go for the Roost, trying to bait a miss, trying to bait him going for the Stone Edge and doing a little bit less damage, as he is going to go for the Stone Edge and hit it and bring us down to a little bit more than where we were before, so we got back a little bit of health, but I am going to go for a Stone Edge. I'm going to miss. I guess that's justice for him missing the Stone Edge earlier, in all honesty, so I can't be too mad at that, as Archeops is going to go down here, but... what this does is it gives me a free chance to go into my Kommo-o. I know he's not Z-Fly, and I know he has Stealth Rock, Earthquake, and Stone Edge. I don't know his 4th move, but unless it's Toxic, this is actually pretty free setup bait for my Kommo-o right here, as I am going to go for a Dragon Dance right here as he does stay in and just goes for the Earthquake. Very, very fair play on my opponent's part. But, you know, I am going to be able to eat one of those up. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to eat 2. If we were able to eat 2 and we were a little bit bulkier, I could have potentially gone for another Dragon Dance and sealed the game. But nonetheless, I am going to be able to go for a Dragon Claw and knock out this Lando. So this is really nice at this point, because out comes a Sylveon, and if this thing is not... what do you call it? If it's not Kabia Berry, then actually we can potentially just sweep the game. I go for the Poison Jab. We see that he is not Kabia Berry, and we knock out the Sylveon, and this is looking... great. Everything on his team at this point just dies to +1 Kommo-o. He goes right out into the Rotom. This is completely fine. He's at about 55-60%. We can just throw off a big close combat here and guarantee knock this thing out. Down it goes. That Rotom was a real pain for our team to break, and I'm glad that Kommo-o was able to put it down right here, and things are looking phenomenal for us, like I said before. And now right here, he's going to go out and do his Talonflame. In my head, I'm thinking, wow, I just, you know, click Dragon Claw, and then I click Dragon Claw again, because the Vikavolt is pretty weakened, and I win the game. But you're going to see right here, he actually outspeeds us, and that's because I'm not... I didn't creep, you know, max speed Talonflame, or, you know, Talonflame creeping my Rabombi with my Kommo-o at +1. I was adamant Kommo-o because his other speed tiers allowed it, and I just did not think to make it faster than, you know, Jolly Talonflame or anything like that, which is completely my fault, and it's nothing, you know, but my fault. That was a big lapse in judgment, and it really did just cost us a sweep there, and a trip to the semifinals, which is super unfortunate. Really did bum me out there. It really did scare me. However, Mew can still potentially do this. If he's not Talonflame, we can Calm Mind up and potentially win the game here, as he does actually reveal the taunt. So this makes things very difficult for us, as I cannot use Calm Mind after he goes for the taunt. And I'm kind of forced to just go for a Side Shock right here, as he goes for the Will-O-Wisp. This is completely fine. I'm fine with being burned. It's not being toxic, so it's not as bad. As we do try to synchronize it over, obviously not going to work, as we do just go for a Side Shock, and you're going to see I don't believe we can... Yeah, we can definitely actually 2-hit KO this thing with Side Shock. He was probably... I talked to him after, and he was very Spadef Talonflame, which is completely fine. He's going to go for a Roost right here, which is, you know, a smart play on his end. There's no reason not to see if he can get out of range of 2, potentially, and, you know, whittle me down with Burn more and all that stuff. But I am just going to keep spamming Side Shock. I don't have another play at this point. It looks like our Side Shock is just a little less than a 2-hit away. He's going to go for the taunt. I'm going to call that play and go straight for a Side Shock, you know, because if he did end up letting me Calm Mind up, I pretty much won the game at that point. But I am going to be able to knock out this Talonflame with the second Side Shock, which is obviously really nice here. But that dang Vikavolt is still in the back, and it's still going to be out of range of our Side Shock, potentially depending on his spread. If he was like a very offensive Vikavolt, we could potentially knock him out. But we're going to go for the Side Shock, and you're going to see right here that we are actually not going to be able to knock it out. It's going to just barely live, go for the Bug Buzz, and knock out our Mew. And that ends our IBL Season 6 run. So GG's to Clutch. He played this game very well, especially the early game. I was on the back foot for a majority of this game. I really did not play that early game well. I don't think I built the best team I possibly could have too, but we really should have won that game with Kommo-o if I wasn't really just an idiot, and, you know, I crept correctly and, you know, checked out the speed tiers and all that stuff, which is completely my fault. I'm not going to say, like, you know, like, oh, this game was mine. That's a loss, because, you know, I obviously didn't do what I needed to do. So best of luck to Clutch going forward. He had a great season. He has a really good team. I really think he could do well. Be sure to go show him some love, you know, support him if you haven't ever checked out his stuff. I think he's in leagues like the BBL and stuff like that as well. But yeah, that's going to be the end of our IBL season. I had a lot of fun this season. I had a really fun team. I got to try Mew for the first time, and I absolutely loved it. I got to use Kommo-o for the first time for a full season, and I love that mon as well. Mega Scizor was a blast. Archeops is probably my favorite tier 5 after this season. It was the most pleasant surprise out of the entire team. I did not think that tier 5 bird was going to do as much as it did, but it definitely did the finest for our team. And, you know, I had a blast this season. We played pretty well. I'm sad that, you know, it came down to another first round exit after having such a good showing in our regular season run, but hey, what can you do? That's Mons. You live and you learn, and hopefully next time we're put in a situation like this, we can learn from it and you know, get better and potentially move on to that semis match and move on to that finals match, and then, you know, take home the belt and all that stuff. But yeah, like I said, GG's to Clutch. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and the rest of the IBL season if you've you know, watched our run up to this point. And if you haven't, I definitely recommend going and checking out our playlist. We have a lot of really good games, including the first game we played against Clutch. But yeah, thank you to the commissioners for allowing me to play in the IBL. Hopefully I'll be back in a future season to you know, hopefully get redemption for myself and maybe take home a ship or something like that. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna get out of here. Later.